71 out of 81. Just let that sink in for a second. That's exactly where Indonesia ranks globally in reading literacy, at least according to the 2022 PISA scores. It's a completely shocking statistic on its own. But you know what makes it even more staggering? Contrasting it with the fact that this exact same population has the 9th highest daily social media usage in the entire world. So we're looking at a society with incredibly high connectivity, but critically low literacy. It absolutely sets the stage for the core problem we're going to impact today.
Welcome to today's Explainer. We are getting right into it. Today, we're decoding a deeply fascinating, incredibly blunt, tough love approach to personal growth. We're pulling directly from the core philosophy of Aditya Pratama. He's a marketer and educator who literally pulls no punches when it comes to self-improvement. He argues that the whole habit of sugarcoating our flaws, that is exactly what is keeping us stuck. So we're going to break down his insights straight from the source material. Section 1, the bitter reality. We need to talk about societal mindsets. Okay, the objective reality here is pretty wild. You have average daily social media usage sitting at an astonishing 3 hours and 8 minutes. But then look at the literacy metrics right underneath it. 60 out of 61 on the UNESCO index, and that 71 out of 81 PISA score we just mentioned. Aditya points out this bizarre paradox. You've got a population that is hyper-engaged online, just constantly scrolling, but severely lacking when it comes to deep reading and critical thinking. And he argues that this specific combination is exactly what leads a society to make terrible, self-destructive decisions at a massive structural level. To really get to the root of these bad decisions, Aditya brings in Carlos Sepulveda's famous matrix of human behavior. Think about the bandit versus the stupid. A bandit takes actions that benefit themselves but hurt others, right? Like a corrupt official pocketing a bunch of cash. But the stupid, their actions harm themselves and everyone else. Aditya brings up the brilliantly frustrating example of failing state monopolies. When leaders run a monopoly so poorly that it actually loses money, the public gets awful service, and the leaders don't even make a profit. It's a lose-lose. So the big takeaway is that structurally stupid decisions are vastly more destructive than purely selfish, bandit-like behavior. Section 2, Aditya's turning point. Let's look at the messenger's journey. You have to understand, this tough love comes from lived experience, not some ivory tower. His journey was a rocky one. In 6th grade, he met his father for the very first time and realized the man was actually alive. Before that, he was basically surviving day-to-day on family charity. Then, at 17, a huge shift happens. He discovers philosophy and theology and suddenly realizes life is so much bigger than just pure survival. But, and here's the kicker, achieving the dream didn't solve everything. By age 26, he hits standard material success. He buys his parents an apartment, gets his own house, and then instantly falls into deep depression and emptiness. Checking off those boxes actually sparked a crisis of meaning. To pull himself out, at 29, he opened a free school for local kids, and he freely admits it was kind of selfish. He just desperately needed a reason to get out of bed in the morning, but it worked. It gave him a highly functional sense of purpose. Section 3, the antidote. This is all about introspection and reading. So how do we fix this? The absolute starting point is introspection. Aditya argues that this is literally the singular cure for that structural stupidity we talked about earlier. It is entirely about radical personal accountability. Instead of pointing fingers at the system, or bad luck, or your lack of privilege, you look in the mirror. He is adamant that making excuses is exactly what keeps people trapped. Like saying, oh, this job just wasn't meant for me, when the reality is you showed up late with a terrible attitude. The only way out of that cycle is brutal self-reflection. But how do you actually build the mental muscle for that kind of introspection? The answer is reading. And no, you don't need to force yourself to read 3 hours a day right out of the gate. Aditya applies the concept of compound interest to habits. If you start by reading for literally just 1 minute on day 1, and you just bump that up by a tiny 1% every day, in 6 months, you're reading 18 minutes a day. In 1 year, you're effortlessly knocking out 37 minutes a day. It is all about tiny, sustainable growth that compounds over time, rather than relying on some massive spike of motivation that's just going to fizzle out by Tuesday. Now, to actually force yourself to start that very first minute, he uses Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. It's super simple. Step 1, acknowledge the goal. Step 2, count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step 3, take immediate physical action. He strongly warns against waiting around to feel motivated. Waiting for motivation is a massive trap. You just count down, short-circuit your brain's natural hesitation, and move. Section 4, Guerrilla Tactics. Let's see how this plays out in career success.
So let's talk about guerrilla marketing. It's not about throwing millions of dollars at a problem. It is about achieving high-impact results with a low-budget, hyper-focused, and highly personalized approach. Real creativity and absolute precision will beat a massive budget and lazy, scattered effort every single time.
It basically boils down to the machine gun versus the sniper. The machine gun approach is what almost everybody does, blasting out generic job apps or copy-pasted pitches to 1,000 different places, just praying one sticks. It's low effort and, frankly, low return. The sniper approach is what Aditya actually used to get himself booked on top-tier platforms. He crafts one highly personalized, incredibly well-researched message to a single high-value target. He didn't DM 50 random shows. He targeted one, showed genuine appreciation, and proved why he was a fit. That kind of hyper-focus yields the absolute best return on investment.
Section 5. Redefining success. What does it actually mean to win at life?
Success is when you stop being a burden. Man, let's just sit with that for a second. It is incredibly hard-hitting. It completely strips away all those glamorous, fake illusions of success we see plastered all over social media. It grounds the entire concept of winning into stark, practical responsibility. We are talking about super practical, grounded milestones here. You pay for your own living expenses, you aren't relying on your parents' money, you can afford a bus ticket to actually get to work, maybe you help pay for a younger sibling's education. You are totally free from predatory loans. He's reminding us that true independence is the absolute foundation of everything else. Because honestly, you can't really claim to be pursuing abstract higher-level fulfillment if your basic survival is still actively burdening your family. Now, once you actually meet that baseline, then we get into metacognition. The source describes this as the highest form of intelligence. It's the ability to step back and observe your own thoughts without instantly judging yourself. Aditya actually admits that his own drive to help others is partially fueled by his narcissism. He likes how it feels to be thanked. But here's the thing. He is aware of it. Just becoming aware of your own flaws, whether that's narcissism, laziness, or jealousy, and observing them without immediately getting defensive, that is a massive leap towards self-mastery.
So here is a question for you. When your ambitions, your fancy titles, your material success, and even those carefully crafted self-improvement habits are completely stripped away, who are you? Aditya shares this beautiful realization from his own deep dive into introspection. The core truth of your identity isn't your job, your bank account, or even your flaws. It is simply that you are loved. What would actually change for you today if you started operating from that foundation of radical accountability and self-awareness? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.